Yep, and we'll be tracking them every day. We'll be back with this segment for updates on bracket returns. But let's turn our attention now, switch gears, and look at what we're seeing on the women's side stats. So, obviously, a lot different than the men's with some heavier favorites, but take us through the top championship picks for women's March Madness.
Yeah, you can see here, it's basically two teams and everybody else right now on the women's side. South Carolina and Iowa are almost at 70%. I mean, that is just crazy to think
Crazy.
about. Yeah. So everyone else is coming up pretty much way behind, but LSU,
Wow.
of course, yeah, they won it last year as a 3 seed. And here they are, the third most picked team ahead of 2 1s, and UConn, of course, ahead of the 2 1s as well. So it's kind of interesting that 2 3 seeds are ahead of 2 1s and all the twos. But
Are you
again, these
surprised
aren't
by
huge.
that?
Maybe a little bit, but I think part of the thing is too is when you have two teams have so much of the pie, there's not much left, so the gaps aren't huge. I mean, they're there, but
Right.
you kind of can see them a little bit. But even the gap between LSU and UConn is more substantial than you think it would be. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how it goes there. Yeah, I'm actually surprised Iowa is that high. Of course, we know why Iowa is so good. But that region, at least right now, seems pretty brutal. But I think people
Yeah.
just believe in Caitlin Clark. But I don't know about you, but I do not want to doubt Kim Mulkey any chance. So yeah, I'm just excited to see if this gets higher or lower. I mean, I didn't expect to see these two teams so far ahead. I South Carolina maybe, but definitely not both of them getting almost 70%. That's just a huge number.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to think, though, that fans are just rooting for that fairy tale ending for Caitlin Clark. I mean, I know I am. I personally think I'm going to pick Iowa, even though they have the toughest portion of the bracket. Same thing with UConn. Like, they have a
Yeah.
really tough road in the men's bracket and still the most popular pick. I'm going with Iowa. I feel like Caitlin Clark's got to get that
Oh,
national
all right.
championship.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay, well, let's
I think that too. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, maybe we'll agree on that. We'll take a look at
Yeah.
our brackets later. But Stats, let's take a look at popular first round upset picks now on the women's side.
Yeah, so you can see here. So I highlighted in yellow all the teams that would be considered upset, like I said, at least a 5 seed difference. So again, not surprising, the 11s would be the most popular one. Um,
Yeah.
but the 11s are kind of interesting because they've had history in past tournaments. I mean, not in a while, but Middle Tennessee and Green Bay, they're familiar programs for people. They know how to win in tournaments. Green Bay won 3 years in a row, even last decade. So they know how to do this. Um, Frankly, the one that stands out to me though is Florida Gulf Coast, not because they're that high, but the fact they're not higher than this. Florida Gulf Coast has won as a 12 the last 2 years, so they've done literally this the last 2 years. I thought they actually would be a little higher than they are at 25%, which again is not a low number, but considering the pedigree they've had, they've proven they can do this. I don't know about you, but I mean they would scare me if I was a 5 seed in the
Yeah.
first round. So
I
yeah,
mean, they've got
they've been
receipts.
kind of the favorite. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we can see if they can pull it off again. 3 years in a row as a 12 seed, that'll be pretty impressive. So we can see if they can get it done. Of course, you have some other ones here. Marshall's a top 13 seed, playing Virginia Tech, which is kind of cool. South Dakota State won as a 9 last year. That could be another popular upset pick. That conference has a good history. South Dakota State and South Dakota of winning games in a tournament. Only a 12 this year. Usually, the teams that made the Sweet 16, like South Dakota State, was a 6 seed, but they can get it done. Fairfield has 1 loss. And they're a 13 seed, so another team that knows how to win. So there's a lot of stuff here you can see kind of goes um, down the line in terms of the most picked on 14, 15, 16 line. But yeah, it's really fascinating. I feel like we have not seen upsets. Of course, we had Harvard over Stanford 98, which was the first 6 number 1 in men's or women's history back in 1998. But we have not seen 15 and 14 seeds win yet. So we've seen a lot of bracket busters on the men's side. We never thought we'd see a men's 16 win. Now we've seen two. So maybe this year we get a 16 or 15 or 14 winning on the women's side. We almost got it a few years back with Jackson State, who's back in the tournament this year. So who knows? Maybe we'll see it this year.